Well, the main golf show. Well, joined by one half of the Sticky Bandits. Marv is saving the twilight dusk of Huddersfield. Hep is away in the southwest of Ireland in Kerry. And Marv, the allegation that Hep can walk on water have not been founded yet, despite the fact the great man has had a trio of weeks where 20 each way. I mean, Porsche just listen to this. So the 20 each way, and Aaron Wright running at 90 to 1. Tipped up Christopher Wright and claims he didn't have any money on 2 weeks ago. 90 to 1 backed Cameron Young at I think one of those enhanced each way bets with 365, so you get lesser places and a greater price at 20 to 1. So he's chopped it off for a few grand and has treated the missus accordingly, by taking her in a car around Ireland. It's
Yeah,
only for also in Trigger where I'm gonna get away for a few days. Where you going, Trig? Ireland. Yeah.
yeah. With a shopping spree at Aldi in the middle of it.
I think you find it was it not little.
Was it Lidl? I reckon that was even worse.
You're gonna take her out for a slap up meal? No, why would I do that? Just go to the butcher's counter in Lidl.
To be fair, that
Um,
Lidl does have the best supermarket bakery. I'm sure it won a prize for that.
yeah, look at the cherry bakewells on that. We digress. We're here on a quiet week for the PGA Tour. It's the Charles Schwab Challenge. Obviously not worth Mr. Hep's time. And not worth the time. A lot of golf's elite. No Scottie Scheffler, no Rory McIlroy, no Xander Schauffele, no Cameron Young. It's not a what do you call it, a signature event. The signature events are apparently going to go back to 120 runners next year. It was madness how they made it capped to like 75 runner fields. Another overreaction for the PGA Tour. That is going to be rectified. Um, it was another poor event last year comparatively. Scottie Scheffler was obviously the headline act, and a lot of burnt fingers. People getting onto him at 13 to 8. I think the market leader at the time of the off. He was the joint favourite heading into the final round. Two behind Siwoo Kim, Wyndham Clark, however, came spread eagle of the field with the final round. I think was it 60 in the end on the Sunday?
Yeah, yeah.
I think. Marv has called him Mr. Volatile for a while, and he's been pretty shit all year. But Marv,
Uh,
when he's good, he's very good.
yeah, I only saw the end of the round, but I believe he missed either a 4 or 5 footer on the ninth for a birdie. I appreciate it's after the event. Oh, well, if he holds it at 59, and I'm sure Siwoo could have said that in the second round, but Wyndham Clark did seem to catch fire over the weekend, or at least on the Sunday. So the question will be, is it a one-off, or does it continue through the rest of the season? I don't believe it will, but I think he's got his win. Another couple of years on the tour, I think he'll just fade into the background for a bit again.
You imagine he's one of those that keeps his tour card for. Given the fact he's on the PGA Tour, right? It seems like all you need to do is catch fire and run good for a couple of tournaments a year, and you're there for another bit longer. So I think he's early mid 30s. I think I want to say maybe 30-ish. If he does that every year for a decade, he's going to be winning at least 4 or 5 million a year and have a very good life. And fair play to him, right? Because it wasn't necessarily. I think Siwoo Kim had hauled a unbelievable amount of putts on the Friday to make his 60, but Wyndham Clark was actually stiffing it. His strokes gained approach was like unbelievable. He was hitting everything to like 6, 8 feet. Contrastingly, um, listeners to this podcast will know I probably have a greater interest in the DP World Tour. There's a guy called Xander Lobad, two clear out in the back nine. I'm writing in our group chat all Sunday. This guy cannot win. He's holed everything Saturday. I think he'd hold up 110 feet of putts heading into the last two holes. And he made finish with a birdie from 9 and 18 feet. I'm like, he cannot win. So, we're going to go back four against the field. And Richard Sterney, the 43, I think 45-year-old Richard Sterney, who hadn't won on the DP World Tour for 13 years, subsequently found out his interview afterwards, Marv. He had hip surgery last year. Finishes eagle, bird eagle par to post 18 under and win by two. And the guy I was on, who was second all the way through, 16 and 17 was a drive par four and a par five. In the trees at 16, in the trees at 17. Finished 5-5-4. No, he birdied the last, didn't he, when he was out of contention to miss the places by one. So the DP World Tour is a strange, strange place. And good luck to Richard Stern, who won his first tournament in 13 years. Only happens when I'm not on. We'll leave the Australian Open this week, Marv, because I'm guessing you don't have to look at it. But the Charles Schwab Challenge, is this kind of a sign of this new two-tier system of the PGA Tour where they're trying to elevate these signature events and the majors and the Players Championship and the FedEx Cup, whatever, but it therefore means the events where there aren't the big names, it looks so much shitter by comparison.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't help with a signature next week, the Memorial. So
Let me tell you,
people,
that is a 10 point bet. That is a
yeah,
This could be a 20
but
point bet next week.
I think he said Scotty and a few of us played last week, even though that field was reasonably lacking in strength and depth. So majority of players have probably chosen this week or last week, or apart from Mr. Rory McIlroy, he doesn't need to
Where's
bother turning
Rory?
up at
Has
all.
Rory played like 4 times this year or something?
Yeah. So so I think a couple of them are going to probably think, you know what, I don't want to miss 2 full weeks, and then because it'll be next week a signature, and then it's the Canadian Open the week after, and I say a lot of people will take that week off before the US Open. So
Rory normally plays that. I think he's won it a few
it,
times.
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's the worst tournament this week, but again, you're not going far down the list, and you start getting into the likes of Alex Smalley and well, actually. Yeah,
Anyway,
Harry Hall, Keith
Harry
Mitchell,
Hall.
but it's. I think I'd say that it's not. There isn't a name like Ludwig Oberg can't finish his tee, so and he's market leader.
With I mean the interesting time in the Canadian Open is generally in Toronto, which is just across the border from New York, and the US Open this year is it Shinnecock, I
Yeah,
think, in
in
New York.
New
So
York. Yeah,
you're looking at like 2 hours max to go from Toronto to New York. So it probably fits a lot of people's schedule. And if I remember correctly, the Canadian Open used to be further along in the season. So I'm guessing they've tweaked this to kind of help people's schedules,
maybe.
knowing this they're more likely to get a better turnout. It doesn't discount from the fact that you are, like you said, if you're looking to try and get people in to watch golf, flicking through the channel on like a Saturday or Sunday, um, of the people playing this week, are Joe probably going to know mo apart from people might know Matsuyama, people probably know Justin Thomas or Ricky Fowler just for the longevity, but then like I said Sanjay Im, Harry Hall, Keith Mitchell, Keegan Bradley's like 12th favorite, Ryder Cup captain, not player, and then you've got Max Grayson and Ryu Hitsatune, Person Coody, Matt McCartney. Uh, the problem with the tour now has is that they aren't creating many stars, and anything in sport, you need two things. You need talent and television. You need to basically have stars who people want to watch. Apart from since Tiger, who's a different breed altogether, Heck would disagree. You probably still got just Scotty and Rory at the minute, and there's nobody else. Probably Bryson to a degree, but obviously in a different tour. You've not nobody. You know what I mean? People tuning. People going to tune in to watch Bob McIntyre play around the Charles Schwab. I mean, Bob seems a
Well,
nice guy and all, but you know what I mean? He's not getting people are watching Bob.
there would be years gone by where Ricky Fowler in his youth, people would potentially have seen that. Oh, I'll tune and see how Ricky does, but there's who is I don't know whether it's because Ludwig's just not got that draw to him. He just seems very plain and vanilla, and
Boring. Yeah.
yeah, and it's I don't know who else really out of the youth that even in a tournament like this could be playing. You think, oh, I'll tune in, see how he's doing. I'll supposedly the next up and coming star, but there isn't really anyone in there that Michael Thorbjornsen. I thought he was a potential, but he just disappeared into the background for a bit. So Yeah, the casual golf fan is, yeah, it's just gonna, God knows what they'll find.
Yeah, I mean,
Bargain hunt or fucking
you mentioned this about so Ricky is. You mentioned Ricky about potential on stuff.
songs of praise. That used to be on Sunday evening, didn't
Antiques Roadshow.
it? Yeah.
Antiques Roadshow. That's also known as the Live Golf in South Korea this week. Sorry, GMAC and Westy. Yeah, Ricky Fowler's going to be 38 at the end of the year. Um, he's been on tour for 16 years now. I think he got voted the most overrated player. Was it 2016 or 27 players when he won it? 10 years ago now, and he's still not really competed. I think he's won once, maybe twice since.
He
Um,
had that 1 year, didn't he? Where did he finish in the top five in all majors
that was
in 1 year? But
2014.
well, I just said it all.
That was when Rory won that horrendous Open Championship. Was it St. George's maybe? When he shot like 16 under and he was just there's no way.
I I'd go with. I'd, why do I think it was on the West Coast?
It's definitely West Coast. I think it was either I think it was Liverpool area because I had a big bet on Fowler that year and I couldn't
Trying to
believe
think the
like
two over there. Oh, it wasn't Birkdale, was it?
it
The last time was
was
at Birkdale.
Royal Liverpool. It was Hoylake.
Oh, was it Hoylake? Okay.
Yeah, I mean he finished second on the day. He ended up getting beat by two, but Rory ran so good in 2014 and someone argue still runs good to this day. So something probably a bit different, Marv. I'm guessing we don't know what Hep's picked up. We might just edit it. We might do that sports premium betting service. Just ask him to film himself tipping a lot of golfers and just insert into the video. And
Yeah, I'm just having a quick scan down. I don't know if Hepwood's still loyal to somebody that he'd gone before,
he very rarely
or
goes
whether
into back-to-back players. In fairness to him.
yeah, or whether he just pick out somebody. I think he'd definitely be throwing darts at a couple of long shots, wouldn't
Likes a long shot, Larry's of Mr. Hep.
he?
I
Yeah.
think of those at the head of the market, probably Russell Henley's probably the fairest priced at 18s. I wouldn't. Ben Griffin last year's winners very short, around 25 to 1. Hideki, if he gets his ball striking going, if he gets it straight off the tee, he's got a good chance because he's still kind of. You need kind of one of the streaky players to just have a couple of rounds. He might be 34, yeah. Marv, you back?
Yeah, sound went for a moment then.
Sorry about that.
No,
Give us
no,
your picks. Give us something a bit of better price for the pods out there. Something we can clip up and use when it wins.
yeah. You see, I was somewhat keen to see what price Ricky Fowler was for this week, just because found a little bit of form. But when I saw that he was fourth favourite at 22s, nah, it was far too short for me. Now, part of me wants to go with the first selection of Alex Smalley, but the problem is he's only 28 to 1, and I think he's been clipped in a little bit from the beginning of the week.
So skinny.
So,
Yeah, he's been nibbled.
although his form of the last 5 weeks, I think he's been top 20 in all of them, and even a couple of top fives. However, I'm gonna go away from because there are two long shots or longer prices. Like, I'm gonna stick with Stephen Yeager, who was in the top five going into the Sunday last week, but unfortunately faded away and just missed out on a place price at 50 or 60 to 1.
Nice price, wasn't he? Yeah, yeah. He
So,
finished tied 30 in the end,
but
so that was a bit unlucky.
he's 66 to 1 this week, or should I say 66 to 1 with Hills, six places a quarter. And that's a far better price than Bet365 at 70s, but only five places. So Stephen Yeager, 66 to 1, six places with Hills at 90s. And the other player that I only really spotted him last week, he finished fourth, which followed up, I think, a tied 19th or 19th the week before. He's a Jackson Zuber. Never heard of him before, to be honest, after last week, but he is 100 to 1. So 90 to 1 and 100 to 1, 2.5 points, or should I say, sorry, 66 to 1 and 100 to 1, 2.5 each way. I'll keep it simple, just split it, but and hope you never know, one might fall into a place. Certainly, Stephen Yeager has been knocking on the door for some place money recently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Jaeger should go well. It's a very similar setup, I believe, to the Houston Open, which Jaeger won, I want to say 2 years ago now. Bo Hostler's another. This is in Fort Worth, Texas, right? So it's interesting that there's no Jordan Spieth this week. Bo Hostler's a Texan native. He should go well. Do you know, I had a 10 each way on Tom Hoagie last week, and running at 150 to 1. Um, and he ended up being, he got to the point where he was in second on Saturday. And I remember thinking, if this wins, I just can't wait to say, I just can't wait to show up
Yeah,
because
well, and that's it, a bit like Yeager, that he put him in position even to get a place, but just found nothing on Sunday.
he put himself in, yeah, he put himself under pressure with those kind of, but he just didn't hold any puts, right? When those like 6 to 8 footers for par, and then you've got those 15 to 20 footers for birdie, if you keep missing them, you just, in those types of events where you've got two drivable par fours, right? And I think three par fives, um, you don't make ground. Everyone else is kind of lapping you. So he's another one that I could see going well. The two I put up last week, I think, definitely two I've mentioned before. Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. He finished really poorly. I think he was finishing the top 20 into the final round, and shot maybe one over. But he's a big hitting Dane. I think he's Norwegian, but he's 100 to 1. Qualios first five. I could see him sneaking into a place. He's in good form. As is Emiliano Grillo. He opened with us, I think, a 63. Wasn't able to kind of sustain it over the weekend, but I suppose for those players in behind, I wonder if it's just the pressure that you can't win. Because look, if you look at the top of the leaderboard, it was kind of Scotty hunting Siwoo Kim from Friday. You're just trying to earn as much cash as possible. So I think I think a lot of these events, without Scotty or Rory, from an intimidating perspective, it's just everyone else at up that leaderboard's a lot more beatable. I think when people see Scotty up there, it's like, well, fucking what's the point? You know what I mean? If we get into the final two ball, I'm gonna win. Look at Alex Smalley 2 weeks ago. Two-shot lead into the final round. His ass completely went, and he completely fell by the wayside of the PGA. I don't think he even got the place money then, did he? Um, so yeah, I'm gonna, I won't say keep it. Chris Kirk won this a long time ago, and I think Chris Kirk will play well, but he's probably just a little bit on the skinny side given his form at 75 to 1. So we'll have 2.5 points each way. No, you what? We'll stick a point each way on Chris Kirk, 'cause I'll be sick if he loses. And 2 points each way on Rasmus Nygaard Peterson at hundreds. Hemp market in your spreadsheet, and 2 points each way on the Argentine Emiliano Grillo. Don't call him Grillo, it's Grillo. But yeah, it's a bit of a damp squib. And it kind of shows, Marv. I think you mentioned this at the start of the year. That they probably still haven't got the schedule right, have they?
No, 100% not. As you say, they've tried to appease the top end, the top players by increasing the prize money and doing what they've done for the signatures, compete a little bit with Live.
Yeah.
However, it creates that divide where the middle just gets squeezed, and you suddenly end up with the more events that have got top fields, but then more events that have just got hardly any, and it's just yeah, there's no even distribution, shall we say,
Hmm.
of players, and it's I know many years ago they had world golf championships. That was an element of the top so many players, but I just think the money in the game now, unfortunately, as you say, you win a signature event or a major, and you win in $3-4 million,
You get that many world ranking points, so you get
and
so far. Like
and
Chris Kostrup was third. Was he fourth in the world after winning two events in January?
mm,
Like,
it's it's I just yeah, I do feel it's weighted far more towards rewarding the better players. And then, as you say, down the list, you've got somebody like a Tom Hoge. As much as there's extra money in the game, he just doesn't need to try and go for the win because it just creates a divide. And then you get these events that, yeah, and it'll come full round, full circle. You just think
but
these things go in cycles.
interesting. There was an in the PGA Tour started doing kind of player profiles on those lesser players who aren't probably making a lot of the signature runs, but guys who are trying to so scramble to keep their job, right? Keep their toe cards. And one of them was on Patrick Rogers, and he said, "Look, he was in that school in from Stanford with Spieth and a few others. I think graduated in 2014. He lost his card, went back on the Corn Ferry, won it back. He said, "Look, I'm very grateful that I'm able to do this for a living." I think he's made like 20 million in prize money playing in the last 10 years. When you think of the travel and the admin costs and then taxes, he isn't making a lot of money. I think Ben Griffin was saying he was paying last year on tour for you adding flying his coach out and his nutritionist and expenses and travel, whatever. He was paying 50 grand a week. In terms of, I mean, that seems fucking stupid, but if you make 5 million a year, you only play, say, 30 events, still coming out with 3.5 million net
Yeah,
to
I think.
have lived the best life on the road and have everything done for you. So
Well, that's it. Yeah, I appreciate that's it. Costs have gone up as well. It's not just that prize money's gone up and you know things are different. I think I just go back to the kind of old argument that, and it's across all sports, that necessarily winning, you didn't make as much money actually winning a tournament or participating. It was what it came after it, the sponsorships,
yeah,
the advertisements, all that stuff. Golfers don't need to do that anymore. They just say, and so I just don't think there's as much emphasis on winning. And yeah, if you want to be a journeyman golfer and just to say you're a professional golfer, well, it beats getting up at 6 a.m. on in the morning and going and just a builder or plumber or whatever, you know what I mean, and just you know,
if you list the golfers like their normal routine, fair enough. It is hard.
I think
Not discounting the fact that you don't work out, but if someone goes and plays on like a Thursday, so they've got a tea time at I don't know, early tea time, late tea time, 12:30, play your golf, media commitments, done by 5, maybe have half an hour on the range, maybe have half an hour in the gym or with your coach, whatever. Then you play generally staying either in your own kind of homes or motorhome, whatever. See a lot of them get like their own buses. Look at Justin Rose, for example. Or you're staying in a very plush hotel. You're gonna have a shower, maybe have a nice little cool down, whatever. You're gonna go to a restaurant, have a nice meal, glass of red wine, good night's sleep, and go back out and play golf tomorrow. Start again. It's not like what I mean. You're not like getting 5 hours sleep
well,
in a
that's
truck and then
indeed, they exactly they could make the argument that spending all this money a week on well, you're not you're not putting yourself up on a fucking travel lodge and living on a tin of beans on and in the evening. It's
big bobs back. Well, you listen to like Stone Cold when he was started out and he was traveling with Mick Foley and I think GDP. They three of them would share a room and
mm,
they'd all like kind of chip in and save money and because they were trying to like reach it, knowing that guess what when you get to the top, you'll make a lot more money then and then you can kind of like as you said, then you can cash in. Nowadays, golfers have it that good from such an early stage, like Alex Fitzpatrick, right? He won one tournament on the DP World Tour gets with his brother on the PGA. he's now got 2 years of everything. He's already bagged 2.5 million in the events he's played. Realistically, right, he's set for life now. Like he would have to drop off a cliff. He's going to have a few good weeks where he's going to bank a lot of money and keep his card and add another year, and the gravy train rolleth on. So
I think
good.
that's it. As Faldo always said, and I appreciate it's going back a long time, but back then you had to win to make money.
Yep.
If you weren't winning, it was more just like a lifestyle job, wasn't it? Yes, you flew around the world playing golf. You didn't make loads of money, but you were flying around the world playing golf, which is, you know,
Marv,
that's what
they've
you
all
were
got
getting out
private
of it.
jets now. You know what I mean?
Well,
Rory flies in his own jet to different tournaments.
you know,
As does, I think, Xander or someone like a Patrick Cantley. Um, Patrick Cantley should not be in a private jet. Like, I'm sorry, how much money are you making in this sport? It's not. It just doesn't make. It doesn't add up. But Liv has changed the game. People may say for the better. The players will definitely say for the better. I think
well,
Phil
they
did
would.
come out, didn't he, and say you guys all owe me because I'm the reason you guys are getting paid now.
It's
Uh,
it's yeah, it's just I just think it's an interesting one because it's an easy argument for me to make. At the end of the day, who foots the bill? You know what I mean? Because if golf wasn't, you know, if people didn't watch golf, golf wouldn't exist. But there's that say it's just I don't say it's capitalism, it's whatever you want to call it, but that's it. People want more and more and more, and at some point you get so high and the bubble will burst and things will reset. So we'll just have to see how, unless you get to Tiger Woods and Rory's level, and yeah, you kind of
yeah, I think at this moment in
you're in
time
a
as well,
different level.
given the golfing landscape, golf really needs Scotty to carry on winning tournaments, winning majors, and being this almost behemoth figure where
Well,
people are tuning in to see can he, like Scotty's five down, entering the final round, can he get it back there?
well,
Because
it just
even
shows
and
that.
like but last year, right, Ben Griffin was I think four clearing to the final round. The Sunday drawing figures were shit. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to watch.
Well, it's somebody, it's happened, hasn't it? A top college player has graduated and decided that instead of going grinding on the PGA Tour, he takes an easy contract with Liv. Who knows how much? Maybe secures his final future, and there's no case of it's suddenly as if golf doesn't matter anymore or performance doesn't matter.
Well, the case in point there, man, was Tom McKibben, who won one of the main tournaments on the DP. Did he win in Dubai? He won in that Middle East swing. The Northern Irish lad, I think he's only 22. And Rory was basically pleading with him, the press, don't take the live money. It's not good for your career. Keep working the DP World Tour. Keep grinding, learn your craft. You'll probably get invited to certain PGA Tour events. You'll be there at some of the bigger ones, the Rolex Series events like the Irish Open, Scottish Open. You'll be there, the Open Championship, play around Wentworth, learn off some of the old pros, that's how you kind of, learn your craft. Nah, fucking go get 12 million a year guaranteed at Leaf. Eight. And he's
I
probably
appreciate.
gonna, play eight, nine of these kind of. I know they've changed it from 54 to 72 hole, no cut events, but it's about learning your. I mean, people get Brooks Koepka was on the DP World Tour for 3, 4, 5 years before, like grinding, doing the towns, and you're flying from like Austria, and then you're going to Denmark and Sweden, and then you're going to go play a couple of weeks in South Africa. But you learn to deal with the schedule. Most of it is kind of like the mental capacity, right? Can you deal with the grind? Some people can, some people can't. But if you're prepared for it and you kind of, as I play through it, um, like you and I know adversity, right? If you were able to deal with challenges and you've got through it, dare I say, it, the youngsters coming through these days, whenever something goes wrong, so sick. How can bad things happen to me? Hep.
No,
Uh,
not my fault. It's not my fault. Someone
no,
else's
zero
fault.
accountability, right?
I think it's easy. One, it's easy for us to sit here because we've never been offered something like that. But I do think we're from a different generation. Not that we're that old, but I do think we are from yeah. people now in their early 20s and 25, yeah, they're different people.
Like a weird
And
level of entitlement, right?
it's, well, he said, but if someone offers the money and they're gone, or it just, yeah, a lot of things in life need a reset in some form. But, but as you say, that's why it also needs people like Scotty, people like whoever, I was going to say Rory then, but people like Scotty to continually be showing that there actually is a reason to go out and play golf and actually to go out to win, to go out to play well. Not to go out just for the money. Else, if everybody just sacks it off and just decides it's just for the money, then there's no role models to follow.
And look at Tommy Fleetwood, right? For the first 3 months of the year, he was playing with no like sponsor or no hat sponsor. He was going around just buying stuff from the gift shop, and he went, "This is great because when I finish playing, like if I'm hoping to win, and then guess what? When I'll bring all this stuff on to the kids. Like, that was when Dad played around Pebble Beach. That's when Dad played around Augusta. That's they're like for the love of the game, right? He said, and some of the players who are probably a bit more older and mature, and again, Fleetwood grinded for a long time in Europe without a lot of success. Didn't win any big tournament. I think he won maybe in Abu Dhabi to maybe UAE about tw late 2018, 19, but he had a lot of near misses before that. It's just a reminder, like you are going to be rewarded handsomely in this sport. You don't need to get greedy.
Yeah, well, I think the thing don't agree with what Mickelson said is because you can't, to me, you can't compare golf and something like an American football because golfers, you ain't getting paid 50, 60 million a year to be the top golfer. It's just across the board, golf is a
You're not
different sport, Phil.
QB1.
Exactly. And that's where it comes back to golf inherently was if you start winning tournaments and get to world number one. They said when Tiger was winning his majors, some of the majors he won, it wasn't even winning a million a year, but a million per major.
Yeah, I think
It's still
you look back to
it's still
2000. I think some of them with
it's
750K. Yeah.
but it's still sat. What was Nike paying him every year?
Well, the big sports guys will end up more. Like Michael Jordan would earn
Mm,
more in his endorsements. If you are at that level where, but that's kind of that comes with it, right? Like McIlroy will earn more money in endorsements this year than he'll in prize money. You look at like a Lionel Messi or a Ronaldo. You build that brand, but you build that brand on being excellent in your field. So it's a tricky one. But we've gone off our
there's
soapbox
no
long enough.
anyway, there's only so much money to go around, and the more one person gets, the less some other bugger gets. So yeah,
There's only so much money to go around in the mainly golf show. It's Mr. Hebb who takes it all. Marv, give us your two picks again for this week, please.
yeah. Stephen Yeager, 66ers, and it was the guy at hundreds.
Alex Smalley.
No. We changed. We went with Jackson Zubair, hundreds. I
Jackson
am going to
Super.
slightly change the staking because so Zubair 2 points each way at hundreds, and then 3 points each way on Jaeger at 66ers.
For me,
Sneaker
I
place.
just take the place. I wouldn't be surprised to see Patrick Rogers or Tom Hoagie play well this week. I can't bring myself to follow them over a cliff once more. Chris Fox. Chris Kirk is a former winner around Colonial, and he should go well at a price. He's around 75 to 1. Fifth of the odds, six places, but I'm going to stick with a couple I was on last week. Rasmus Nygaard Peterson, both finished, I think, T25 or better. He's 100 to 1, according to the odds first five, and Emiliano Grillo is 110 to 1. 10 places Ladbrokes got their prices are awful. Um, Grillo, we'll stick with 90 to 1. According to the odds first five as well. We'll be back next week as well, I don't know about all three of us, but I tried to convince you why Scottie Scheffler will be a mortgage job around Memorial, aiming to go for a three-peat. Whether the two boys agree with me or not. Let's see. Hepper will be back next week, back from his busman's holiday around Ireland, and Marv will hopefully be back with his expert opinion and insight once more. I've been Twig, he's been Marv, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.